Hey, what's up YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at Rico, or R-I-C-O if I'm saying the name correctly, for the Nintendo Switch, also available on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam, but we'll be focusing on the Switch version. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage, I'll have a link in the description of this video and you can check it out as well. When it comes to first-person shooters, there are type of first-person shooters that I'm into. Some of the unique ones are the ones that kind of break away from like the mainstream ones, like we see like Call of Duty or the Battlefields or anything else like that. I'm into sort of the ones that are like unique or interesting, whether it's like the Borderlands series, or whether it's like, say, like Nintendo's like Metroid Prime trilogy, or even ones like the Conduit or Geist, and so forth, or even something like PayDay though, which I actually kind of enjoyed more than I originally had thought though. So it was sort of interesting to try out this title, Rico, though. I haven't heard, when I heard it was coming to the Switch, I thought I would take a look at it and give it a try out for myself to see how the game played and all. I've looked at some of the reviews, some of the people liked it, some people hate it, and after playing with it for about 2 weeks or so, I honestly will have to say that it's a fun first-person shooter, but I feel as though that there are better first-person shooters out there. I'm not saying this is bad, just far from perfect. So why don't we get started with our pros and cons? So we'll start with the first one, and that is the pro. First off, we'll start off with is the art style. I will say that as far as the art style in Rico goes, it looks kind of nice though. I mean, it kind of reminds me of, I think, that one Ubisoft game called, I think it's XIII. Again, I apologize if I don't get the name correctly though, and I'm not can't really read Roman numerals very well. And to some degree, somewhat of Borderlands that follows that cartoony, like cel-shaded style in a way. Although I won't deny, I will say compared to the two though, obviously Borderlands looks a lot better and all. But that's not to say Rico looks bad or anything like that. But I will say the art style looks nice. I like the comic book style they have with it. Okay, the next one I do want to talk about is the gameplay. And I will say the gameplay, in a way, based on my time with it, kind of gives off a little bit of a PayDay vibe to it, though. You're basically in, like a certain area, and in this case, you have to clear out rooms and clear out the bad guys or anything like that. A little bit different than PayDay, where you sort of conduct an operation, robbing a store or robbing a bank or anything like that. But the style or the approach they have to the game looks kind of similar though, and also the game uses randomly generated rooms and all. So every playthrough could be a bit different, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So that does certainly add a little bit to the replayability of the game, although it does come off as some of the rooms feel like they just moved it like from one area to the other. So a little iffy on that, but overall gameplay wise it is fun, and if you're if you're into like kind of PayDay style of FPS shooters, you'll probably would enjoy Rico. And last but not least, the modes available in this game, and there are plenty of modes to play this way. I mean, you could play this and it is a single player game. You could play it as a split screen, couch co-op. Worth pointing out for the Switch version though, split screen co-op is only available when the system is docked. When it's undocked though, split screen is unavailable. Although I'm pretty sure you could do like have two Switches together and local play like that though. But you could do split screen. You could even do online mode in this game, and you could play it with like group of people or so forth. So there are many ways to play in terms of single player, split screen, or online, to even some of the modes they have in the game. Like you could do a quick match, or you could do like any of the daily challenges, to even any of the cases, which are also, like the rooms are randomly generated. So each case is going to be a bit different. So it adds a little bit of the replayability though. So there are definitely many ways you could play Rico though, and that certainly is not a bad thing at all. I've been playing it as a single player game and I've been enjoying it so far. So overall, in terms of ways you could play the game, there are many different ways you can play Rico. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 2, which is the cons, plus my thoughts on the whole Anthem controversy. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video review of Rico for the Nintendo Switch. Again, also available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC and Steam. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And for the cons, there are 2 things that pop up based on my time with playing the game though. The first one has to be the technical issues in the game. Now, based on my time with the game, I haven't ran into a situation where I got kicked out from the game or the game became virtually unplayable, but there are some technical issues as far as I'm aware of based on my time with the Switch version, ranging from loading times taking a little bit longer to some of the odd animations some of the characters do when you kill them. Like, it's just like their legs just like wobbly or something like that. It's just weird or something like that. So there are some technical issues that kind of popped up during my time playing Rico on the Nintendo Switch. It hasn't made the game unplayable, like I said, or I found myself being kicked out from the game or anything like that, but there are certainly some odd animations that they put in here, and of course the loading time isn't exactly great. And last but not least is the items. Now, in the game though, depending on which of the modes you play though, you basically will be able to find ammo packs and health packs. And you will need those to sort of regenerate your health or regenerate your ammo. You don't have regenerated health in Rico, and any health you have left will be carried over to the next case if you're doing the case mode in the game though. So you have to sort of keep an eye out for health packs and item packs, though. But there are occasions, however, I find the items packs and health packs put in sort of odd places. One example would be, let's say, if you're in like one of the offices, it might be behind like a desk, and unfortunately you won't be able to reach it. And one of the problems is not only is it, other than being in an odd place, is that there's no jump button, at least as far as I am aware of, so it just seems a little bit odd that they placed the item there, and that could be a problem if you really need to regenerate your health or refill your ammo, to be exact. So sometimes they place some of the items as just sort of the odd places though. Overall, I will say I did have fun time with Rico though. The gameplay definitely has sort of a PayDay feel to it in a way, and the visuals and the art styles are nice, and there's certainly different ways you could play the game: single player, split screen, multiplayer. In some of the modes they have, whether it's daily challenge, quick matches, or cases. So the game is fun. That said, I will say it's not the best first-person shooter out there. It's not terrible or anything like that, and I still am having fun with the title, but I will say compared to other first-person shooters I've played, I would say some of them are a little bit better. Even on a system like the Nintendo Switch, which doesn't have a huge library of first-person shooters at this time, though, I will say I would say that games like Doom and Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, probably play better than Rico does. So my overall take is that Rico, I think it's a fun game. I do like the randomly generated roguelike approach to the game though, but as far as it being the best first-person shooter out there that I play, I'm going to have to say the answer is no. So it's fun, not the best first-person shooter out there, at least from my take on it. Okay, before I end this video, I do want to talk about recently the Anthem controversy. Now, I'm sure most of you have, either some of you may or may not have played Anthem. That's basically the new live service looter shooter that EA and BioWare had put out. And well, let's just say the game has not gotten the best of reputations out there, ranging from the game being unfinished, to bricking possibly PS4s, to some of the loots not being dropped properly. Well, recently, a article from Kotaku by Kotaku writer Jason, I forgot his name, I apologize for that, recently put out an article on there talking about the situation in BioWare, and it talked about a lot of things. I'm not going to read the whole story, but I do have a link in the description of it so you can read it yourself and come to your conclusion. But basically some of the highlights that it's pointed out has been ranging from crunch time to people feeling like the BioWare magic, it will work itself out, to stories how while Dragon Age Inquisition was successful, it put a strain on the team, to the whole idea that some people have to see a psychiatrist or so forth, or certainly working conditions, to upper management not listening and all that stuff. And supposedly BioWare respond to this sort of like, well, the way it came off, at least the way BioWare responds, it almost gives the impression that they were playing the fake news card out of it though. And I'm a little bit iffy about anytime somebody plays a fake news card. While I'm not saying mainstream media doesn't have its share of criticism, it becomes pretty hard to buy into that argument when we see that card play one too many times. This is going to sound political to some, but especially coming from an individual that occupies the White House, though. And I have to say, based on what I read so far, I mean, look, I enjoy video games as much as the next person does, but you know what? These people have lives, though. They have friends and families. They need to go home and get a break from work and all that stuff. Look, I enjoy video games as much as the next person, but I also don't want these people to be treated... let me just say, I want them to be treated like human beings, to be exact, okay? They also have lives, too. I mean, even if it means the game's going to take a little bit longer to develop, that's fine, though. I mean, but based on what I've been reading, I think this could reinforce the push to possibly, for the gaming industry to unionize. And honestly, I would say, and some may call this, and you know what? I'm a pro-union person. I have no problems with that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's time that these companies treat their employees as human beings, for crying out loud. And I also think this could turn some people off who want to enter the video game industry, who want to develop games, but when they hear stories like this, they have sort of like second thoughts of whether it's worth going into the gaming industry or not. So something seriously needs to change. The industry needs to somehow change some of this, though, because if what this is being written in that Kotaku article is true, I have to say this is unacceptable. Employees should not be treated like this under any circumstance. And as for EA, you know what? For a company that wants to try to become the greatest video game company in the world, let's just say, pardon my language on this, you're doing a piss poor job with it. Given the reputation you earned, I can't see you seeing that in any way. So my takeaway from the whole situation is that it's not just BioWare, but the industry as a whole needs to somehow change. We need some of these employees need to be able to go home with their families and their friends and so forth. Look, as I said before, I enjoy video games. They're a hobby of mine, but not like this. Certainly not like this. And this just adds more and more problems to not only BioWare, not only EA, but Anthem, and also the industry as a whole, to be exact. Okay, this concludes this video review of Rico and my thoughts on the situation, the Anthem controversy. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the video game Rico? Is it a kind of first-person shooter that interests you in any way? And if so, is the Switch version worth picking up? Or do you prefer, the PS4, the Xbox One, or the PC or Steam version, though? Have you enjoyed the game as well? Do you think the art style looks nice? Do you think the game does have sort of a PayDay style feel to it? And what are your thoughts about the Anthem controversy? Do you think some people are blowing it way out of proportion? Or do you think this is a problem that the video game industry as a whole seriously needs to address? Did you like what you see in this video? Did you not like what you see? Did you agree with what I said? Did you disagree? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, wish you all a good evening then. Bye!